What's up, everybody? Welcome to Johnny I Pro Show. I have here no other than Evil Uno. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to, answer some questions, I guess.
Because I love it, exactly. And I gotta say, off the bat, Sunday, Mystery Wrestling, Saturday, AEW All Out. There's so much going on.
Yes.
You're obviously gonna be everywhere.
I'll be present at least at Mystery Wrestling.
Exactly.
I will be at All Out. I don't believe I'll be on the pay-per-view, but I work a backstage job, so I will be present. It's Canada. I cannot be there to represent, at least in some form.
Exactly. And I gotta say, now, how did you come up with Mystery Wrestling?
So Mystery Wrestling, I've been running a lot of independent shows I've been wrestling now been a part of wrestling for now 23 years. And, what happened is that before I got signed, I wanted to have a vehicle to let people have extra reps and get to wrestle. And I never knew who was going to wrestle. I never knew who would want to do the shows. So we announced it as Mystery Wrestling. And so anyone could show up, and whoever would show up that day on a piece of paper, I would say, okay, well, you guys are wrestling each other. And we would do this in a very closed circuit. And after the first show, we realized that, this is incredible. People are so excited because they don't know who's coming out. It would be incredible to do this if I had money and access to great talent. Well, the next year I got signed, and then I realized, well, now I have money and I have access to talent. I should really do this. And so we took a gamble on it 2 years ago. And at this point, it's been incredible. It's been incredible. I can't complain at all. We're now doing our first Toronto show. When does this air?
Tomorrow.
Okay, I will not give you the scoop, but this Sunday we're announcing an international date as well.
Oh, okay. Yes. No, because it's been in the wrestling world, as you want to call viral. People are talking about Mystery Wrestling. Wrestling. They're loving it.
Yeah, so we're very lucky. We realized that there's a niche audience for comedy wrestling, and we've really tapped into it. And then I have access to so much talent that I can, have people from Impact. I have people from major indies, MLW, AEW, and a lot of Canadian wrestlers, which at the very core, that's what I want, is I want to represent Canada. We have so few international influence. Now there's only maybe Maple Leaf Pro right now.
Yeah,
that's really starting to blow up. And before that, there's a few people sparingly through the country, so we're trying to make a vehicle for Canadians. It's if it wasn't for our approach, I don't think it would work well. And then much like yours too, those vertical reels is a lot of what has gotten us that extra attention. We're very thankful because we're completely fan-driven, we're completely fan-funded, and I don't think we'll ever change that. And it's been a very, very good output for our product.
And yourself on commentary is just top tier as well.
Thank you.
Very, very entertaining.
I've never done commentary until these shows, that's not true. I did little blips of it. I'm learning as it goes. It's a lot more of a podcast format for me. I don't apply the regular rules of commentary to it, but I am learning as I'm doing it how to make it better and make it better and make it better. But at the end, it's just me and a friend. We're having a conversation. Exactly. We're watching a live wrestling show. The live wrestling show just happens to be a little crazy.
Exactly. And I gotta say now, the Toronto one, can we get is Toronto in for a treat?
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say we have the biggest surprises possible, because it's hard to tell what people consider big nowadays, but I definitely have a decent amount of surprises on this. And we're going to be doing some real wacky stuff for sure.
That's going to be good for sure. I'll be there in attendance as well, guys. I'm excited for that. And I gotta say now, right back to Evil Uno now, what got you into wrestling?
So I actually started wrestling when I was 14 years old. I started doing training at Canadian Pro Wrestling out in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada. That's just outside of Ottawa, Ontario. And I had been a wrestling fan my whole life. I think one of my first few memories is watching wrestling with my family when I was 2 or 3. They brought me to a live event when I was very young. I remember very early on, in my 10, 11, 12s, I would go to the live events in Ottawa. I was second row at Raw. I wore a cane mask. I was a huge wrestling fan when I was a kid. There was nothing except for video games and wrestling I really loved in life. And so when at 14, a friend was like, hey, there's a school that opened just around the corner. Would you like to go? I actually secretly went to the school, forged my mother's signature for the first few weeks. She ended up finding out and supported it, of course, and even drove me there a few times. But I ended up starting training at 14, and by the age of 16, I had done my debut, and I started wrestling a little bit everywhere. And now it's been, I've been active for 22 years now. So, yeah, crazy.
Give you your flowers off and say, thank you so much for the memories and all the
Thank you. I
stuff that you've done.
appreciate it. Thank
It's good to
you.
get your flowers as well, and I always like to do it during my show and just appreciate what you've done. Because
Thank
obviously
you.
all the hard work, dedication that goes behind your craft. Not many people see it. They just watch the show, but they don't know all that, the years and the sacrifices and all that stuff that goes behind it. So I want to say thank you for everything that you've done.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I even coworkers, I'll have this discussion all the time, and they sometimes, I work with people from all ilks of wrestling, people who have genuinely made it to the very top, and a lot of times they're like, "Oh, how'd you get here?" And they don't understand that I've been wrestling maybe 12 extra years than they have.
Wow.
So it was a long journey, but I got there.
Like I said, who are your favorites growing up, wrestlers?
Oh, by far, I was really into the mask guys, which is obvious nowadays. But I loved Kane. I loved Mick Foley. Mankind is by far, I think, my favorite of all time. Bret Hart. You can't be Canadian and not love Bret Hart. And then I had like some really weird, odd choices when I was young. I really loved Goldust and D'Lo Brown. I loved I was way more attracted to like the charisma portion of it than the actual like physicality of it, and because my father had a black box at the time, so we would get WCW pay-per-views.
Good old black box.
And we get you know what I'm talking about. And I would get the ECW on TSN that way. I was a big Tajiri guy because I saw all those super crazy Tajiri matches. That Mexican death match they had was on TV, and that made me a huge Tajiri fan. And I loved all the mask guys and Dean Malenko in the cruiserweight division from WCW.
Now, what was the inspiration now behind the mask?
So truthfully, I was a teenager, and so I thought if I wear a mask, no one will know I'm a teenager. Except I had a teenager's body, so there was no way. There was no way to hide it. But I loved masked wrestlers. Obviously, I loved Rey. I loved Sasuke. I loved Jushin Thunder Liger. And when I started getting into wrestling training, I didn't know there was a whole other world of wrestling. And so I started tape trading when I was a teenager once I started training, and I realized that like all the people I thought were incredible were all from Japan or from Mexico, and they were masked. And so I really wanted to invest in that type of character, one because I had to hide my age, but also I thought like it would be a lot more interesting as a pro wrestler to be masked. And then eventually, this takes a life of its own, and at this point I just don't think I'm anyone else but this. If I take this off, yes, I'm the same person, but this is what people identify as me. So
now, I don't want to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Who's the greatest masked wrestler of all time?
That's real tough. Because I think you can make a claim for Rey Mysterio, absolutely.
That's what Brett said as well, yeah.
I would say Rey Mysterio is probably the best. My personal favorite is Jushin Thunder Liger, though.
Wow.
Yeah, but Rey, Rey, if you hear this, you are the best. There's no denying it. There's no denying it.
Exactly, you're the GOAT. And I can say forming Super Smash Brothers.
Yes.
Now, your initial thoughts of Stu Grayson forming that?
So Stu Grayson and I had met in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada. He trained in the same school I did a few years after, and we instantly connected as friends. We're around the same age, and there weren't a lot of us who were young from the wrestling school. So anyone who was young ended up gravitating together. Me, my best friend, Frank Morin, who unfortunately passed away, and I'm sure at some point we will touch about that. But him and I had befriended him, and almost instantly we realized we had a connection and chemistry, and so we started tagging within a year's time. And at the time, even though I am obviously very influenced by video games, I do a lot of video game content on the side. That is my second life beyond wrestling. At the time, my character was Player Uno, and I was straight up the creative character from WWF Attitude when they would chant Player One, Player One. I just did that, but I changed the last name. So I was like, we need to play off of that. And at the time, of course, Super Smash Bros. On 64 was the greatest fighting game of all time. So we're like, let's just, if not ever, if not ever. Melee can also be up in the debate. That GameCube game's incredible. Would you consider Street Fighter
as well, somewhat?
Yeah. So I've always liked Street Fighter. I'm an Alpha 3 guy. I love Q. I love all of Alpha 3, 13. But I still think Smash Brothers might be the greatest of all.
Yeah, I think
it just has a general. It's easier to connect with everyone. But to go back to it, Super Smash Bros. Was by far the greatest video game at the time, and we thought well, let's just do that, not knowing that Nintendo being the giant they had someday that could dawn on us. But at the time, it really helped us, get into those other places.
Exactly. Now, and during the Indies as well, you came out to the Mortal Kombat theme song.
Correct.
Let's talk about that as well. Now, before you say that, your favorite Mortal Kombat character?
Ooh, Noob Saibot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he
wow.
does that mist German where he disappears into smoke
Yes.
and gets behind you. And also, like, when I started playing Mortal Kombat, he was the secret character. And to me, unlocking secret characters was by far the coolest part of video games, so that would be mine.
Exactly. Now, coming out to that, like, what all came about coming up with that theme song? Was it just because, like, love for video games and Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, so I had a variety of different songs. I think my original ones, I came out to the Bubble Bobble theme song. I did a lot of Punch-Out music. I did a lot of Nintendo-based stuff. I've come out to different Donkey Kong music. But by far, the one that would elicit the greatest reaction was Mortal Kombat. I think you hit that first note, you hear the first little bit, you know exactly what's coming, you know exactly, and like it's cathartic to yell out Mortal Kombat at that point. So by far, that was the one I had to use.
Favorite video game of all time? One. Has to be one.
Super Mario 64. Instrumental part of my life where I realized that video games were more than what I was playing. It was an art form. And I think also at the time it was like a very pivotal time in my life where, much like when I was getting into wrestling, my brain was forming to understand things as a greater concept. And the scope of the N64 suddenly going 3D, suddenly having these open worlds, and within this open world there was even more open worlds. It kind of blew my brain open to art as a general concept. And I think there are games that are probably better, but no game will ever top my list. So
exactly. I guess this as well now. AEW games, like the socials and stuff.
Yes.
You, Adam Cole, all that, like. It just buzzes every time. It's always like viral somewhat. Mm-hmm. Like, how did you all come? Did you come up with that? Who came up with that?
So AEW Games was a product that AEW wanted to start doing because we were launching our AEW Fight Forever game, and we thought that the best way to support that would be to take advantage of the talent we had and the genuine interest that myself, Adam Cole, and a few of the other people on the roster had. And so we started doing tournaments. We started filming some extra gaming content, and now it's kind of taking a life of its own. I've gravitated more to the podcasting side of it, discussing games that I'm into, discussing Adam Cole's weekly games as well. And now MXM have taken more of the zany side of the gaming stuff. I'm a very zany wrestler, but it just never translated to making content the same way. I think I'm way more an honest speaker rather than someone who's aloof and crazy when it comes to video games. So they do that part, and now we've done the podcasting, and of course we're still publishing video games. We did mobile games. We obviously made our big console game, and at the moment we are obviously going to be working towards our next project.
Another one. Now, who's the best video gamer in AEW? Would you say yourself?
No, surprisingly, I think if you were saying who plays the most, I think it would probably be me, if not Adam Cole, but skill-wise. There are quite a few who are very good at video games. Orange Cassidy is surprisingly good at almost everything he does. Wow. Adam Cole is very good. Mansoor from MXM, very good at video games as well. Ricochet is very good as well. We have a wide variety of guys who are pretty good. We play a lot of games almost weekly. We do it on Twitch, we do it on YouTube, but we also backstage will occasionally bring our consoles. Tekken is still a big hit backstage. So
I love it. Now, having your own action figure. Let's talk about that. I got one signed by you actually.
Yes.
I was at Indie Show. I think I don't know if you remember. We did a little snippet with Greek Town.
Oh yes, I do remember
my
this.
buddy,
Yes.
and also my buddy as well. Terry had a. He does Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes,
drawings.
You made one for me, and he also does the card formats, right?
Yes, shout out to him as well. Yes, he's a great guy. He told me to say hello as well.
Oh, sweet.
Like, having now your actual own figure, how was that moment for you?
I started wrestling with very few goals in mind. I think making it to television was never something I thought was attainable when I started. One, I was a teenager, and when I started wrestling, if you weren't 6'3" and under the age of 25, you were never going to make it. And I reached the age of 25 a decade in, and I never got to 6'3", so I thought, well, this will never be one of my goals that I'll achieve.
Stories of my life.
Yeah. hey. Us small guys get it rough. But eventually I still had stuff on my list. One of them is being a video game, which I've yet to be in a major console game, still to be attained. I'm looking at you. Yeah. But the action figure was by far one of the goals I thought would be unattainable. Even when AEW started the lineup, I was like, look at our roster. When are we ever going to be amongst the people to get it? And when they came out with the Dark Order line, I'm more than willing to admit this. I cried.
Of course,
I cried. I cried when they told me, and then I cried when I saw it. I cry when I went to the Toys R Us for the first time in my hometown.
Got chills there.
Yeah, like walking up and seeing me and my
there.
tag partner that had been tagging for 15 years. I was like alone in a Toys R Us aisle, just crying, looking at my action figure. It's. I think if I stopped wrestling tomorrow, there are a lot of things I'll be proud of. But I think that it like. To my dad, that was when he realized I had made it. He owns my action figure, right? My mom owns my family as a whole knows that like I made it because there's a physical form of it. Yeah.
So everybody growing up like watching wrestling and stuff, like, childhood memories. Like I still collect wrestling figures till this day. Call me whatever you want.
Me too.
Exactly. I don't care. I still collect. Like it's just something like like it's not nostalgic.
Yes.
And just see the feeling like you go like to any toy store or Toys R Us and seeing it there must have been the.
Oh, it's unreal. It was unreal because that's when it felt real. I think. You could sell the action figure, but to see it in my local store in my hometown, and yes, I'm from my hometown, but when do you ever consider you're going to be like a major product to be sold? It was unreal. And then like I saw them the week they came out, and then they were all sold out in my region within 2 weeks, and I was like, this is it. I've made it. I finally made it.
I love it. Now talk about your hometown winning the IWS Canadian Championships at home in Quebec.
Yes.
So right there. How was that for you?
Good. So I've lived in Gatineau, Quebec, Canada for the entirety of my life with the exception of the last year. I actually live in Detroit, Michigan right now. Mostly because I've worked for AEW for 7 years. Eventually, I had to get closer, get to a major airport. But I still own a home in Gatineau. I still run Mystery Wrestling out of there. And that's the first major championship I ever won, was the AWS Canadian Championship. My friend Mark Polisel, who runs C4 Wrestling, which is the major promotion in that region, this was his first show before he ever ran C4. He helped IWS run this show. And as a surprise, they actually did not tell me I was winning the championship. Not to let you guys know, but some of it is predetermined. And I hit my move, and my thought at the time was that someone was supposed to stop it, and then I would end up losing. And as I was pinning, the guy whispers in my ear, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "What?" And then they counted 3. I looked over, and the referee's like, "Yes."
Oh, so you didn't even know what was going to happen?
I had no idea.
Get out of here!
Yeah, in front of my mom, in front of everyone. So that was like my first major championship. My friend booked the show to get it. The company that I had been working with, IWS at the time, which was I think at the time the major company in Quebec. Was more than willing to give me that championship. So it was a crowning moment of my early periods of wrestling.
Exactly.
For sure.
Then Ring of Honor having the opportunity to face the Briscoes.
Yes.
Talk about that.
Ring of Honor was a huge goal early on for me because when I started tape trading, I started wrestling professionally in 2004, but I started training in 2002. And 2001 to 2006 is like Ring of Honor prime. That's like the best Ring of Honor of all time. That's when, if you were a independent fan, everyone was trading the tapes. So early on, when I made like a list of things I wanted to reach, Ring of Honor was one of them. And if you think of Ring of Honor, you think of the Briscoe brothers. By far.
Homicide.
Oh my God.
So the list goes on. Holy shit.
Yes. There's everyone from that period of time, I've gone on to do something incredible. Wrestling the Briscoes, I got to wrestle them in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, so in my home country. I remember being very nervous. And, this actually... on top of wrestling the Briscoes that night, both Ric Flair and Bret Hart were in attendance.
Stop this. No.
Yes. And at the time, and still to this day, I still think Bret is one of the best. You cannot be a Canadian pro wrestler and not respect and give him his flowers. One of the greatest of all time. We were backstage about to wrestle, and I get a tap on the shoulder. I turn around, and it's Bret Hart. And he says, "Hey, when are you wrestling?" And I said, I'm next match. And he goes, "I'm going to watch your match."
No way.
And I instantly, the nerves ramped twice as much. Yeah, I was making not my Ring of Honor debut, but my biggest match at the time in my home country against the Briscoes, who, are in top 3 tag teams I've ever faced in my life.
Would you consider them top 5 of all time?
I think top 5 of all time. I think the Young Bucks, them are up there for sure. Midnight Express,
too.
There's quite a few as well. It's a moment I still fondly remember. I still talk about all the time. I was like, Bret Hart watched my match.
Was he front row?
No, so he was actually a guest as a VIP, and he ended up watching it from the booth in the back. Wow. So he didn't. I think he had one appearance where he got to talk and come out, but he didn't get to watch from the crowd. There was I believe at the time 1,500 people. If he had been out there, the lineup would have been for him. So they would never paid attention to me.
like at my shows. That's why I feel your pain.
You get it. So.
Yeah. And also as well, you faced as well. I always botch his name. Sami Zayn now, but he's also known as El Generico.
Yes, El Generico.
Generico. Yes. There you go. Tongue twister, my European side there. And also Kevin Steen as well.
Yes.
Just see what they are right now, but face them at a young age as a tag team. How's that?
Oh, incredible. And truthfully, a lot of the success I have in my life is due to them. Very early into my career, Kevin Owens kind of took me under his wing and essentially let me travel parts of the world with him as a secondary, and I learned a lot from him. I got to wrestle him a ton, and in a lot of ways, he's been extremely helpful to anything I've done to this point. I don't think I'd be in AEW if it wasn't for him. I don't think I would have been in Ring of Honor. I absolutely wouldn't have been in Ring of Honor if it wasn't for them. PWG as well, but even though we had been friends, even though they were mentors to me, they were by far the best Canadian wrestlers at the time. Wow. And it was extremely stressful to wrestle them because you knew they couldn't have a bad match. You did not want to be the people that have the bad match with them. But I've had incredible matches with both of them. I think the world of them, and I'm very, very happy for their success.
Exactly. Now, winning tag titles at Alpha One, obviously.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Oh, yeah. So Alpha One, a good friend of mine, Ethan Page, is
he was just
promotion.
Hamilton,
I know, he just appeared. I just found out about this. Congratulations to him too. He's doing incredible. But anytime you get to win a tag team championship is incredible. Me and my tag partner, we've traveled the world. We win championships a little bit of everywhere. But to get that stamp of approval from one of your friends for one of the major companies in Canada is very fulfilling for me as career-wise and on a personal level. And A1, I believe we won the tag championships twice,
yeah.
And both times were like crowning moments for us.
Exactly. Now, taking on the Young Bucks, I was going to ask you.
Yes.
And you said they're one of the best top 5 as well with the Briscoes.
I think they might be the best, truthfully.
Okay.
If we want to really get down to it, I've wrestled a lot of people in the world. A lot of tag teams. I've been a tag team specialist for 20 years. The Young Bucks are the best tag team in the world.
Wow. Because you get a lot of, obviously, people from other sides of both sides. You
yes.
say the Usos or this and that. Mm-hmm. But I understand. But now you see the Young Bucks, and I'm clicking. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, right. I think so. I mean, obviously, I have not wrestled everyone in the world. I think the Usos have a great claim for sure. But from my personal experience, no one is better at the art of tag team wrestling than they are. And across the years, for now 15 years, they've reinvented themselves. I think the style of tag team pro wrestling is their style they did from 10 years ago. Every tag team in the world became who the Young Bucks were, and so they transformed who they were to something even more, and people are still trying to catch up to them.
And you beat them at PWG in a no disqualification match.
Yes, we did. And also, we beat them for the PWG Tag Team Championships, which...
It was a three... Was it a three...
Oh, no, yes, sir. We were tag champs at the time.
You defended your titles.
We defended them at Tremendous, and then we also had a straight tag with them as well. But they are... I can only speak well about them because I don't think... I would absolutely not be in AEW if it wasn't for them. They're EVPs of AEW. I've had some of my greatest matches of all time in the 20 years of a career that I've had have been with the Young Bucks. And on top of being great wrestlers, they're good people. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have the climate in wrestling we have nowadays. I think, a lot of people... refuse to give them their flowers. I think they should be given their flowers twice over, not only as great wrestlers, but as people who changed the business entirely.
Yeah, these are... I'm just like, this is fantastic. This is great. I love when other wrestlers praise other people or praise them for their work. You don't really get that much nowadays.
No, I think a lot of people are very negative when it comes to wrestling. I try to be a positive light as much as possible. I know negativity sells, but I'm hoping people...
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
Not at all either.
I don't care. I'd rather be 2 views and get 1 million views for something that's clickbait and negative.
That's it. Hey, I'd rather someone shares this around and say, yeah, we also love the Young Bucks.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better.
Yeah,
positivity everywhere.
Yeah, now we get it.
I love it. Now, being one of the best Canadian, in Ontario, indies, all that, this and that, with Stu Grayson, what does he mean to you, Stu Grayson?
Stu Grayson, on top of being a great tag partner, is my best friend. I mean, we've been friends since he was 16 and I think I was 18, or at least on the cusp of being 18. We've been friends ever since. We traveled the world together. We traveled roads together. When you are stuck in a car with an individual for like 26-hour drives, you learn everything about them.
Exactly.
There is no crazier bonding experience than being stuck in a car trying to stay alive and going through everything. I know everything about his personal life. I know his favorite muffins.
What is it?
I believe it's blueberry. Because we actually, there was a drive. This is how we get through time. Where we're like, okay, I don't know what to talk about. Let's start ranking muffins, and we'll go through all of them. And we've ranked a lot of things over the time.
Where does a carrot muffin rank in there?
Mine is top 3.
Yeah,
I love
sure,
a carrot muffin. I also, I don't even know if this is interesting to you guys. I love raisin and bran, like a raisin bran muffin.
Yeah,
I love that stuff.
Have you ever tried McDonald's muffins?
They're incredible.
Oh my God,
incredible!
Interview's over. I'm leaving.
Incredible. Go there early in the morning.
Yes,
They're hot as hell.
yes,
They're
yes.
good. Slice them up. Put some butter on that bad boy. Yeah, I'm a big muffin guy. But yeah, Stu Grayson, my best friend, great professional wrestler, and I think. Untapped potential. I don't think people realize how good he is.
Singles wrestler, great.
He's incredible as a single wrestler. You can see him Maple Leaf Pro.
Yep.
You see him at C4 Wrestling. He's really like trying to branch out into his own little thing right now. I genuinely think, given the opportunity, people would. If you gave him a fresh new opportunity, people would realize, oh, this guy's among the top 10 right now.
Yeah, that well said. I seen him live at Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, so I do little things with him as well. Phenomenal.
Oh
wrestler.
yes, he's incredible. He always stands up on. You put him on any show, doesn't matter who's on it, he will stand up.
He had a match with Tarek for the Destiny Championship. I believe it was 2 weeks ago. I know kids now like to say banger.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Oh yes.
Ruthless.
And
match.
shout out to Tarek, also one of the best in Ontario for now.
He's
10 years
killing
around.
it.
Yeah.
Killing. Doesn't get his flowers well. Shout out to Tarek, but Stu Grayson's phenomenal as well. Now wrapping up your so the Super Smash Brothers there, the tag team.
Yes.
Now your favorite match of all time with Stu Grayson. You got to pick one. Yeah, I mean you can pick more, but what was your favorite match?
You actually mentioned it. Us versus the Young Bucks in a no DQ. It was death to all but metal.
Yep.
I was a very, very. So we did the DDT tag tournament and went all the way and won that, and that led to us wrestling them for tag team championships. I think what is so incredible about it is that we had only been in PWG for 4 shows at this time. PWG was always our goal. We won the tag team championships from the Young Bucks, who I believed were the best tag team at the time, in one of my favorite matches of all time. And then on top of it, I had Excalibur and Kevin Owens on commentary, both very close friends to me. So in a lot of ways, I don't think I've reached a pinnacle higher than that since then. I have definitely made it to television. I've definitely had major platforms, Mysteries doing well. But at that moment, I remember looking at Stu and I was like, this is it. Like, this is the moment we're going to remember forever. And to this day, I've had a bunch of incredible matches. I would also like to shout out the Young Bucks were in this one too. Dark Order and Hangman 5v5 versus Super Elite is the other greatest matches I've been in.
Get there, here.
Yeah. I don't even know if the content of the match was great, but the entrance alone, I have chills thinking about it actually. Walking out was a moment where it's whoa. And I mean, not trying to tap myself, but it's like, we're stars. This is insane. Like, to have every member in an audience go crazy for someone. And like 90% of that is because Hangman is the greatest of all time, or at least currently my favorite. But yeah, it's those two by far, and the Young Bucks are primarily the reason why they've been so good.
And you also had a triple threat ladder match with Future Shock.
Yes.
And the Young Bucks.
Yes.
Future Shock was Adam Cole and Riley, I believe.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes.
Like, those are stars.
Yes, and we talk about this all the time, like, because we're all in the same locker room, and we'll look at each other and be like, I can't believe, like, this is now 13 years ago, I think, at this point. 12, 13 years later, we're all working in the same company. We've all made it. And people still to this day are like, that's the greatest ladder match of all time. We didn't know it was going to be. We were just having fun. But every month somebody asks me about it.
That match,
what was that like?
Stellar, yes.
Oh, yeah. If you have not seen it, PWG Tremendous 3, I believe, is the event.
I'm sure it's on YouTube for sure.
It is. Yeah, I don't know if it's legally on there, but yeah, it's on
everything's I love it. Now I gotta ask this now. Huge moment for you, like I'm guessing, obviously, in your career, getting signed to AEW. How was that moment there?
So in my long years of wrestling, many times have I been told a new promotion is going to start. Many times I've been told I'm going to be signed, that I'm going to make a living. And so at some point you kind of just take it for granted. And I was in a very weird spot in our life where we couldn't wrestle in America for a very long time. And we were predominantly in Canada and Europe. And Ring of Honor came to Canada for a Toronto show, and 10 days before I get a call, and it's the Young Bucks, and they say, hey, we're allowed to wrestle anyone we want in the world, and we would love to wrestle you guys in Toronto. And I said, not a problem, we'll be there. But the issue was that I had already set up a UK tour of 3 weeks, and I was going to leave for it 3 days later. So I ended up canceling that entirely.
Right away.
Right away, because at the time, one of my major goals was to get signed to a company, and Ring of Honor was one of the few companies that would sign outside talents and get them visas. And so we had what I believe is one of our incredible. I've never had a bad match with the Young Bucks, but another incredible match with them in Toronto. And right after, they were championing for us to get signed at Ring of Honor. Over time, a lot of stuff happened. It never ended up happening. They ended up coming back to Toronto almost a year later. We were re-invited to do that. And we had a great match with SCU. And post that match, Ring of Honor offered us a new contract. And there's like, we would like to sign you. And we were very ecstatic. I was like, I can't believe it. We're finally going to make it.
Our moment, yeah.
And then the Young Bucks at the time were like, hey, I can't tell you what to do, but if you're willing to just wait a few more weeks, something major is going to start, and I can't give you any details. And at that time, they were by far the best wrestlers. They were in the Bullet Club, which was by far the biggest independent faction probably ever.
Yeah.
And so we thought, okay, I'm willing to give them the 2 weeks because they know what they're talking about. And then 2 weeks later, they told us, because they could legally say it, what was going to happen. And the first thing they said was, Jim Ross is involved. And I said, okay, and I'll sign. And it didn't feel real because I was one of the first people to sign, but then when the paperwork showed up at home, I signed it in front of my friends and I cried, of course. I'm a crier. Very emotional.
Yeah, same here.
I've gotten emotional over the years. The older I get, the more emotional I get. Yeah, that is not something I ever suspected would happen, and you don't never think there's going to be
you manifested it, obviously.
I think I manifested part of my career, but I don't think I ever believed there'd be a secondary platform that would be created on national level that would rival, WWE. And so to think that exists and that I've been at that since the very beginning, and I'm still there, one of the first few people there, one of the OGs from day one, still representing an AEW. It's baffling even to this day to think that, like, one, it exists, and two, that I'm a part of it. It's changed the trajectory of my life.
Exactly.
For sure.
Now, being a part of the Dark Order.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Dark Order was an extension of what me and Stu Grayson at the time were doing. We were trying to get away from our video game characters.
Never do that.
Smash Brothers, because at some point Nintendo was going to come knocking at the door. And, so we're like, let's do our own thing. And so I had already started being Evil Uno at this time. There was a moment in the middle of my career where I'd been a good guy for almost 15 years, and I was just kind of tired of doing it. No one would ever give me the opportunity, so I kind of gave nobody the chance to put me as a good guy and just changed my name, changed what I was doing. And so I was already doing Evil Uno, and I was already doing this stuff with, like, minions. At the time, it was supposed to be, like, I have, like, underlings that I was studying, and that was what it was going to be. When we signed to AEW, they wanted us to present them with what we would like to do, and I said I would like to essentially be a cult faction where, one, it would explain why I had these minions, and two, if we were going to do television, it would be a vehicle for us to do more and more stuff. And that's grown. I mean, Dark Order is still standing, a day one faction. I think there's only us and the Elite that have both been still standing since the very beginning. I'm incredibly proud. I've made some of the greatest friends of my life, some true family through Dark Order, and I never want to see it go. It is probably the thing I'm most fond of in my wrestling career, is to be a part of that.
And now, obviously, the late, great, rest in peace to Brody Lee as well.
Yes.
Being a part of that with him, do you have any stories that you could share? Or even as well, I wanted to ask you, what does Brody Lee mean to you?
I mean, Brody Lee came to AEW and I think a part that was pivotal in his career, but also in a part that, if it wasn't for him, I don't know if Dark Order would still be standing today. He brought new life to us. He had been a friend that I had known for a very long time when we were doing the Independents. I would ride in cars with him back and forth. He would live in Rochester, which was on our travel to Shikara. So I would always end up going to Shikara with him, coming back. And so we had actually formed a friendship before he had signed with WWE. And we had reached a very weird point in the Dark Order where we were building a lot of steam, and then unfortunately one event got blown out of proportion. People looked at us very negatively. If you're wondering which one, that's the one where the guy punches beside a guy's head. And at the time we thought, well, this is it, we're done. I've never done TV before. This is my first experience, and we've already screwed it up. And kudos to Tony Khan, who never gave up on the concept. He knew how to course correct it fairly quickly. He said, maybe we should build to a higher power and have someone come in. And when I found out it was going to be Brody, who was a friend of mine, I knew like we were in good hands. He's incredibly big. He was a monstrous man, but he was a sweet person, a funny person, a very giving person, and he was an incredible professional wrestler. And I knew that if he was given that role above us, we would go on to do very good things, and absolutely we did. It was a shame that unfortunately it happened during COVID. He never, and I'm sure some people have discussed this before, but he never even got to see a crowd. He only wrestled in front of no one the entirety of his existence in AEW. Yeah, and I think that is quite sad because he never got to have his flowers in front of a crowd. But if it wasn't for him, I don't know if Dark Order would be standing still to this day. A lot of what we do is in his memory, and I've had a lot of fond memories with him, but most of them, the most fun we've had were actually public. We used to do Being the Elite every single Monday, which was the Young Bucks' YouTube show. And every one of those skits that you see were usually one or two takes. If there was a second take, it's because Brody would belly laugh and he couldn't stop laughing. And those are by far my favorite moments with him, is that we were creating little comedic pieces and he thought they were hilarious at the time. And we would always have such a great time doing them too. Honestly, the greatest time of my life was that 1 year that we got to work with him. And it's a real shame what happened to him.
Well, rest in peace, Burley. I'm sure his memory will live on forever with great guys like you in the wrestling world for sure. And I gotta say, before this, you said Hangman is right now the greatest wrestler, right now.
I believe so, yes.
Now, you actually went in the ring with him and Omega for the tag team championship.
We did, yes. Me and Stu Grayson.
How was that now? Actually against, you said, one of the greatest right now?
Yes. So I've been very fortunate. I've gotten to mix it up with a lot of the greatest of all times. Kenny, Hangman,
Daniel Bryan,
Bryan Danielson, which is still baffling. Dustin Rhodes.
Do you believe one of the best technician wrestlers of all time?
I think maybe the best. Yeah. I think maybe the best. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is at the heels of him for sure. But I think if you look at the scope of work, no one has ever touched what Bryan has done. But I think currently, if you're talking promo, if you're talking look, if you're talking genuine connection and on top matches, I think the very best is the AEW Men's World Champion, and that's Hangman.
So that's a good pick for, because some people are like, why is he champion? I'd rather have him anyways over Mox. I mean, this is the Mark coming out of me, but I mean, Hangman is just a great champion.
I think Mox has been the guy for so long too. I think Mox has been champion of our show for several years when you think about it, because no one was capable of taking his spot. Yeah. He is a wealth of knowledge. He is battle tested. Mox is one of the very best in the world. But I genuinely think it was Hangman's time when he won the championship. I think it was Hangman's time when he won the championship the first time. I know a lot of people say this, but I think he is the protagonist of All Elite Wrestling. A lot of the major stories that I think people connect to are the ones that Hangman have brought to the table, and I don't think you can naysay that he has really made his spot in wrestling. And then to bring it back, to wrestling Kenny Omega and him in a tag match. Kenny was one of the largest goals at the time. I wasn't even aware of Hangman early on. We had actually wrestled each other in Toronto at WrestleCon several years before, and I had no idea we had wrestled when we re-met him at AEW. He's formed into one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, a real star. But at the time, Kenny was the Canadian wrestler. And to me and Stu, that was by far one of our goals. And we had a great match with him. And every time I've had to mix it up with Kenny or Hangman, it's been a blast.
Now, you said all those names as well. Now, you also fought as well here at AEW, Daniel Bryanson.
Yes.
Do you believe he's the best technician wrestler? I'm obviously there's the Bretts, the Kurt Angles, but they also put him up there as well. Do you believe he's one of the best?
I think Bryan Danielson is the best technician in professional wrestling. I think there's not a style Bryan Danielson can't do. He used to do the Saturday morning comedy matches. Even in PWG, he's done comedy matches with Kenny Omega. Incredible at it. He's a great technician on the mat. I think the only person that could rival him is Zack Sabre Jr. He can do hardcore. He can throw fists and kicks, no problem. He can have a typical junior American style wrestling match. He can do lucha. He can really do it all. He can do great commentary. He's a great promo. And I think above all is that he's genuine. His voice is genuine. So when he talks, he believes what he says. And I think that is a very hard thing to do in professional wrestling, is to feel authentic and real. And yes, I think Bryan Danielson still to this day might be the best technician of all time, if not the best ever.
Wow, couldn't have said it better. Now, you performed AEW at the Bell Center.
I did.
How's that at home AEW at the Bell Center?
I was very fortunate to not only get to do the Bell Center, because that was on a short list of things I never thought I would do. I also got to do my major hockey arena. I've lived in Gatineau, and so in Ottawa, this Ottawa Senators had the Canadian Tire Center, which I don't even know what it's called nowadays. But to get to wrestle at both of those is dream come true. I remember both of them. I got to wrestle Eddie Kingston, who is a great friend of mine. I've known him for 15 years. First match of a night in the Bell Center on the second night, and coming out, what was incredible, one, the energy. I think Canadians support Canadians, so instantly they're behind you as you walk out. A great example of this is by far Eddie Kingston was one of the most popular guy at the time, and they booed him. And I remember thinking, like, this is why I love Canada.
It's
like
awesome.
we support our own. We stick together. We stick together. But even more fascinating to this was walking out. I was like scanning, and I was like, I know at least 15 people in the first two rows. Like, I was like, these people have been there with me for 20 years of my career. My mom was there. My sister was there. My wife was there. Everyone was there around me. And then, the same happened in Ottawa. It is... I'll cherish those moments very fondly, and I'm very fortunate I got to do it with some friends as well.
And now AEW Grand Slam, now all the way back to, let's talk about in America now, in NYC, the Dark Order versus the Acclaimed.
Yes.
Billy Gunn. That match was great.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, that was at the end of a very long day. UBS Arena, I believe?
I think Asher...
Oh, yes, that was Arthur Ashe. Yes, you're right. It's... wild to think the list of people I have wrestled, and Billy Gunn has been on there numerous times now.
It's like scissory.
Yeah, which is crazy. Nobody really thinks about it, but Billy Gunn has been over and has made money and has been a top star through like 3 decades.
And
this point.
And he doesn't look normal.
No, when you meet him, you like. It's funny because when I started watching wrestling, I never thought of him as one of the big guys.
Yeah.
And then you meet him and you're like, this man is a fridge.
Yeah, Jack City.
He is so big. He's a gorilla. And like, he's very, very smart, very great wrestler. The Acclaim I think so fondly of as well. I think both of them are incredible wrestlers too. And to do it with some of my greatest friends, Alex Reynolds and John Silver, in their hometown, because they're from Long Island, so they got to do this where they're from. It is incredible, and plus there was such a massive crowd. That arena, the way it's shaped, most arenas the bowl kind of spreads outwards, but because these are like tennis arenas,
yes.
they like vertical.
Yeah,
it felt like a sea of people that never stopped. I think the only other place I felt like I saw more people is when we got to go to Wembley. That is on the list of matches that I will never forget, for sure.
And we mentioned Billy Gunn as well. I recently talked to him during MOP, and I asked him a question. I said, what is your greatest accomplishment, like, when it's all said and done? And he said as well, he's like, I told him, you're in the Hall of Fame, DX, you've done so many stuff. He's like, the best accomplishment is right now, he says, wrestling with his children. Like,
yes.
The same thing. He said that nothing will beat that. He says, everything else says the Hall of Fame, what he's done WWE doesn't mean nothing WWF as well. with his family, like, I mean, with his kids the most.
And both of his sons have worked their asses off. I think a lot. I don't know if I could say that.
Of course,
Okay, I say asses, good.
Yeah, good.
They are the ass boys. They worked their asses off. They came in with very little experience, and what happens in wrestling is you come under the shadow of one of the greatest, Billy Gunn, still making incredible content in professional wrestling. It's a hard pill to swallow to try and meet up to those expectations. And they've been wrestling for less than like 5 years. And they have become AEW tag champions, trios champions, and it's unfortunate due to the injuries in the last year, they have not been as present. But to have his sons with him, but on top of that, his sons represent well. I'm sure he was very, very proud.
Yeah, and remember they're all together with the Acclaim. They're all like the scissor me.
Yes.
That thing was just too golden. Yeah. Now, after all, we're done now with AEW. Now I got to go like this. Now you return to C4 and you won the championship versus, I believe it's Bennett. No,
Junior Benito. Yes.
Like returning back to C4 and winning a singles championship. How was that for you?
So C4 wrestling has kind of been my home promotion for the entirety of my career. It started maybe 4 years into when I started wrestling, but Mark Paulsell, who runs the show, and Steven, who also runs the shows, are great friends of mine. I may have been the person to do the most C4 shows ever. I've been there since show one. I think I've only missed a handful. But it was an incredible moment for me on several points. One, Junior Benito is one of my students, and to see him become champion was a great moment of pride for me. As a trainer, but also seeing someone that literally was a child when he came to us to try and wrestle and get to his dreams and become the guy at C4 Wrestling, I thought was an incredible feat for him, but an incredible thing for me to be present for. Yeah, to see my student do that. But also to know that I get to wrestle him, I get to take the championship away, and I get to form a story with him for a year-long time. And I had never won a C4 Wrestling champion. Even though a lot of people, I think, attach me to that promotion because it's my home promotion. I've been there the whole time. And to a lot of people, I'm the hometown guy there. I never got the opportunity to win it. I've always failed at it. And I don't know how many more years I have in wrestling. So to know that my home base was willing to give me that trust to be champion for a whole year is something I am very happy about, and I'm very proud of as well. I think I did very well, and I'm even more proud of Junior Benito, who ended up winning it off me. He didn't pay me, don't worry.
Little money.
Ended up winning it from me, and is going on to doing bigger and bigger things.
It's full circle moment.
Exactly. It's like I'm part of what my journey in wrestling now is to try and give back. And while I did win the championship, part of winning that championship was to make sure that Junior gets to go to the next step and to also help the next generation of guys. And so it's an incredible moment for me. And now being on the other side of it, I don't think I will be present at C4 anymore, which sad news to you if you're a C4 wrestling fan, but I have done it for 17 years. I feel I've done it all, and I don't want to be the guy who takes the spot. I think a younger guy should have that spot from me now. I've done it. And I'm proud because my region never had a lot of wrestling when I started, that we're now at a point where the general Ottawa region hosts some of the best wrestling in all of Canada now, and C4 is at the forefront of it.
Well, C4 Hall of Famer, let's just put it in there right there.
That's right, yes. Number one, please.
Get the banners, exactly. Now, you return as well to Alpha One, and you won the Zero Championship as well. Like, just returning back and winning these championships. Probably the belt collector at this point.
You know what? I had a very good year that year. Once again, coming back to a promotion that had been champion before in tag formats. I've been doing a lot more singles work now that Stu has left AEW and is doing more of his single stuff. And it's not that, like, we're still great friends.
Yeah, of course.
But we're trying to explore different avenues in wrestling. Yeah. We did one thing together for so long that we're trying to do different things. It is very validating to know that people give you that trust. And to know that, and I don't think Ethan Page runs these shows anymore, but I think at the time he did, to know that he had enough trust in me to give me a championship, even 20 years in, is something that feels good to me. It feels like it validates my existence in wrestling. And I was It was a very short reign, but I was very happy to represent while the time I was there.
And now recently as well, you an AEW tag match, you took on the Down Callis family.
Yes.
Josh Alexander.
Yes.
And as well, I believe Takesha. I always botch his
Konosuke Takeshita. Yeah.
My Europeanness came out of there. But like just being there and seeing Josh Alexander at AEW, and like just a great friend of mine, and just when you say something that really deserves it,
yes,
he really deserves it.
Absolutely.
Like, he busts his ass, as I say,
yes,
like all over like the indies and just TNA. He was the face of TNA
yes,
for the longest time, the longest reigning champion, except the list goes on and on his accolades. And just to be in AEW right now, and obviously you were just against him in a tag match, but seeing him in AEW now, like what is that to you when you see a person like that, Canadian, and you obviously know of him just at AEW now?
Josh is a person I've known for over 15 years at this point, but there was no doubt he was ever going to make it. He was one of the greatest wrestlers in Canada 15 years ago, 10 years ago, 5 years ago. And even for that short stint of time where he left on his neck injury and we thought he would never wrestle again, he was still considered one of the best right before. And so I'm not surprised he's in All Elite Wrestling. I will completely say that up front. If being the face of Impact for so long, you knew he was going to go on to do bigger things. Yeah. It's incredible that I got to share the ring with him on national television, two Canadian boys who've known each other for so long. But he's on to doing even bigger things, being in the Don Callis family. He's going to be on this big Scotiabank pay-per-view on Saturday, which I'm sure is a huge event for him in his life, considering, Scotiabank is the arena.
On pay-per-view.
In Toronto.
Get him more nervous.
Yeah, hey, if you're hearing
keep
this, start sweating. Look, it's not my position to say I'm proud of the guy, but I think the guy worked his ass off. You can't deny that. And justifiably, he's made it because he worked so hard.
It's like when you say like earned, not given, like yourself, you earned it. It was never given to you because all the years that you put into it, same as him as well. Like he's earned it.
I appreciate that. No, I think he genuinely did earn his spot. He, much like myself, we've hustled now for 15 years. And he's now finally getting his flowers. So.
Now yourself, over 20 plus years in the game. I gave your flowers earlier. We all appreciate what you do. So much memories, especially the wrestling community. Now, what keeps you motivated for 20 plus years doing what you love and at a high level?
Truthfully, there were years I was not as motivated. I did not know if I loved this. And I think that's the trajectory a lot of wrestlers go through. You think it's something that you're going to love all the time, but there are downs and there are highs from professional wrestling. But what really motivates me nowadays is I have made it. I've made it to television. This is my living. And not only my living, I run a school. I run Mystery Wrestling. I help with all these other people. I've got a bunch of students. I don't have children of my own, but like my students to some extent are an extension of who I am. Yeah. What drives me now is a lot of my journey was not easy as a Canadian professional wrestler. I think in a lot of ways Canada produces some of the greatest wrestlers of all time, but nobody comes and looks at Canadian talent. And my goal in wrestling now is less so about personal gain and more so about paving a way that it'll be easier for Canadians to find that person to see them that gets them to the larger stage. Part of that is my backstage work I do at AEW. Part of that is Mystery Wrestling, which is a vehicle for a lot of who I think are the greatest people in Canada. Part of that is working with Maple Leaf Pro, who I believe are trying to do the same thing, opening the door for Canadians for broader things. And then I have a lot of things that I do not want to disclose quite yet that I'm hoping will help ease the path to making a living in professional wrestling for Canadians. That is what drives me now. I love professional wrestling. Even beyond the performance of it, I think I have found my family through professional wrestling, and I want to make sure that I cultivate a scene that in the future makes it easier for more people to get into this, but also make sure that they get into this with the right foot and the right attitude.
Exactly.
So.
Now, you mentioned as well school, and like you're a teacher, you teach the young up-and-coming wrestlers. Now, if there's like, say, wrestlers, it could be the girls, the boys that come up to you, and they look at you even as motivational, like, I want to be like Evil Uno when I grow up, or just like a professional wrestler. What is the message that you give to them, or even anybody watching right now?
Look, I did not make this on talent alone. I think the hard work will pay off. But it is a long game. It's a marathon. It is not a sprint. And what that means is not only on the hustle do you have to constantly do this, but at the very core of who you are, if you are a good person, karma will eventually reward you. Don't let the depression of wrestling, don't let the nature of performance weigh you down. Be the person that you are, be a good person, and you will eventually be rewarded for it. I genuinely think in wrestling, there was a time that you could be a bad person and you could go anywhere and still be fine. I do not think that is the case anymore. Good people are the people who prosper in wrestling, and that is how it should be.
Exactly. You couldn't have said it better. And as well, like, I always like have this as well. It's one of those things, like, as long as you do good, you know good will always come your way. Just do everything the right way and you have nothing to worry about ever. And also do what makes you happy and what you love. That's all that matters at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah, if it does not make you happy, then genuinely maybe you should take a bit of time away. And that's happened to me. I think there are moments in wrestling where you feel like this does not make me happy. Why do I do this? If you want to keep doing it, find what about it makes you happy. Do this as much for them, but you are also doing this for yourself. Do what drives happiness in your life beyond anything else. Success is what you want it to be. Is success being on television? Is success making a living? Or is success being happy? To me, beyond anything else, it's happiness. And if you can reach that, that should be what you should try to get to.
Couldn't have said it better. Now, I got to ask you, what has wrestling taught you over these years?
I think above all, it's taught me respect. I was very, very lucky to start this journey as a teenager. And I genuinely do not know what my life would be if I had not found wrestling. I think a lot of my friends who are not in wrestling view me as someone who achieved their dreams and followed their dreams. And I don't think I would have ever done anything different. It's hard to know. But from day one, I knew what I wanted. And I was razor focused on achieving it. Sorry, go back to your question just so I know I hit this on.
Like, what has wrestling taught you over these years?
Yes, respect. If it wasn't for my years and years of interacting with people of all ilks, in wrestling you meet people from every spectrum of the world. I've met people from every part of the world. There are fans who travel 12-hour flights to come and see you for a 5-minute match sometimes, and it changes the world. And it makes you realize that you are making a difference in some people's lives. This is not just something for play. This is not something just for yourself. It's something for everyone. And as you grow in this, the more respect you are showing, not only to your peers, but to the people who support you, the more you will be rewarded from that. And you should be doing that not for reward, but also to make a difference in their lives too. I think about being a positive force, and wrestling has taught me if I am positive and I am respectful of others, they will do the same to me, and that will cultivate to others too as well. And I just believe if you lead by example, it will attach to others, and people will do the same as well. And so if it wasn't for wrestling, I don't know if I would have the same output on life and the same look at or perception of what life should be. And I'm very thankful. I think I'm a very art-driven and respect-driven person, and I think that is all because of professional wrestling.
Yeah, beautifully said. Now, I got to say as well is one more thing. What would you tell now your younger self, like a 14-year-old self that's just about to start wrestling?
It's going to be a long journey. It's going to be a long journey, Player Uno. There will be some highs, there'll be some lows. And thankfully, I know this now that I'm 20 years in, that you will stick with it. But there are times you're going to doubt yourself, and there are times you're going to essentially be your worst enemy. And just know that in the end, you were right. People will find a way to eventually realize, you are good at this. Stick to it.
Perfect. Now, right down to the nitty gritty. We're almost wrapping this up. I got to thank you so much as well for coming to the studio. Now, I call these like the fan questions that they love.
Okay.
Now, dream match for you. Let's go tag match, and then we'll go singles match. Evil Uno versus anybody from the past or present.
There are two that I can think of right off the top of my bat, and that's Christian Cage. Ooh. I've been a Christian fan for the entirety of my life, and as I've grown as a professional wrestler, I've come to learn how much better at the craft he is than I thought he was as just a fan, and still to this day he is on the top of the list of who I would wrestle. And if I could go back in time to a time where he was not retired, I would love to have wrestled Jushin Thunder Liger. It was something I was trying to achieve for 15 years. I got to meet the man, but I never got to wrestle him. But as one I would have definitely have loved to do. And then on the
tag side,
you
and Stu.
it would be me and Stu, absolutely. While I do have other partners in Dark Order, Stu Grayson by far is my tag partner. That is a hard one because we've achieved a lot of what we wanted, but one match we really wanted to do that we never got around to doing is us versus the Hardy Boys. We came close several times, but it just never happened. And I think young me and young Stu Grayson would be so thrilled to find out one day they wrestled the Hardy Boys. And so to this day, that is still one I would like to achieve.
Exactly. And now I got to say this as well. If there can be a Mount Rushmore, not of any kind, a Canadian Mount Rushmore.
Yes. Brett.
Ding.
Chris Jericho. It's hard. Trish Stratus. And now it sucks because I got to choose one of them. Man. It's hard because there's at least 10 I could put on here. I'm going to say Kenny Omega. Sorry, Christian and Edge. Or Cope, excuse me. Kenny, I think, would get the nod on that one.
Exactly.
Too.
Now you just mentioned Christian and Adam as well.
Yes.
Now returning back home after 20 years.
Yes.
In Toronto, tag teaming together. How that even feels for me? Growing up, I was a huge Rated R Superstar. That was just my little
Me
shit.
too.
I just felt so cool in school. Had the art, the Rated R shirt.
The posing and everything. Yes,
and he did all those little things.
I love them as the Brood as well.
The Brood,
yes.
Yeah, huge.
Shout out to Gangrel. That guy ruled.
Yeah, exactly. That just being back at Scotia, not just in general, Toronto,
yes.
pay-per-view, and I don't even know if they're the main event or not, but just at that high end, they're pushing it to be one of the match of the whole
first
night.
Match we announced for the whole pay-per-view.
Yeah, just like that right there. Even yourself working with AEW and seeing that, being from Canada, obviously Adam and Christian after 20 years teaming up together against FTR, which could be perhaps one of the greatest as well tag teams in Canada.
Top five for sure.
Yeah, top five for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine what they're thinking and going through because they hadn't tagged together for I believe 17 years.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And to do it at such a large level now, both of them have achieved everything they probably have ever wanted. But to come back together as friends, the way they started, the way they started on television, the way they started on the independents, when they were on the Ontario scene in Toronto, they were either wrestling each other or they were tagging together. They've been attached to the hip together for the entirety of their career. I'm sure it must be an incredibly proud moment for both of them to know that they get to do it again on such a high level in their hometown, in front of probably their family, in front of some of their friends of the longest time, and in front of 11, if not 12,000 people. Sold out, packed. I've never questioned them on this, and maybe I will over the weekend, but I can't believe they are not, getting a little bit of the goosebumps.
Yeah, for sure.
They're gonna get it. You're gonna
the jitters.
As you see it sometimes, you'll walk out. Or sorry, Cope. Adam Copeland sometimes will walk out, and you'll see it. You'll see it on him. You'll see the amazement of a crowd still reacting to him, and I don't think they take that for granted, and I definitely think they won't take that for granted in Toronto.
And the crowd too, how they sing their songs, you can tell he just does all that stuff. So he's gonna get pumped.
He's pumped every single time. To have his theme song, the theme song
here?
Too. It's so wild. When I heard it the first time, I was like, cannot believe Cope is coming out to his song.
Theme song. Wow.
It's great to see it in our environment, and he's done incredible. He's had incredible matches in this environment, and a good person too. From what interactions I've had with him, a great person.
A whole lot of stuff as well. I remember last time as well. It was a Scotiabank Arena, 2006. It was him versus John Cena Unforgiven match. When his father was involved, then he did his also last match here. So I'm a huge Ed.
Of course.
A fan.
Adam Copeland.
Yes, just I'm excited to see that as well. And you as well, guys. Wrapping this up. Sunday Mystery Wrestling, and obviously AEW on Saturday. A whole lot going on. Now the last question I set up everybody is this: when it's all said and done, what do you want the fans to remember Evil Uno as?
I don't think I'll ever get to disappear from this. I think in some way, shape, or form, you'll keep seeing my somewhat of a face. But if there's one thing, I hope I left wrestling a better place for other Canadian wrestlers. I know that is not to the fan aspect of things, but to me, I have had a very hard journey, I think, to get to where I am today. I was not 6'3". I am not the mastodon of a man like Billy Gunn would be. I am by far not the example of what you would think a professional wrestler is. But I think, if anything, you can look at my journey, and if you are watching this and you want to become a pro wrestler, or you are a pro wrestler that is just starting, note that it is possible. I did it, and so you should be able to do it too. And I hope that when I leave the business, or I leave this world, that people will look back and say, he was a good person, and he helped a lot of people go on to do great things.
Couldn't have said it better.
Thank you so much, Johnny.
It's such a pleasure. I'm sure in the future we'll catch up again.
I hope so.
Guys, until next time, we are out. Take care. Be safe.